In this presentation, we are going to analyze the most important threats to the rainforests in the Amazon. This is an interesting example of the combined effects of climate change, biodiversity loss, and other effects of human intervention. And the problems that are presented from the Amazon basin, not only for the survival of the rainforest itself, but also at a planetary scale. I would like to begin presenting some of the most important environmental benefits that the Amazon rainforest provides to the planet. It is important to begin stating that the Amazon is the largest remaining rainforest in the planet. The Amazon stores between 150 and 200 billion tons of carbon, accounting for about 1/6 of the terrestrial productivity. Undisturbed forests are also a carbon sink. So the contribution of the Amazon rainforest to climate change mitigation and to the stability of carbon in the atmosphere is extremely important at the global scale. Also, the Amazon has an important role in regulating climate and the distribution of rain and moisture on South America as a whole, and provides a key role in climate and rainforest distribution in South America. The Amazon River has the largest river discharge on Earth, is accounting for about a fifth of the world total freshwater provision in the planet. Another very important point of the Amazon basin is its incredible biodiversity. The Amazon it holds 22% of vascular plant species, 14% of birds, 9% of mammals, 8% of amphibians, and 18% of fishes that inhabit the tropical rainforests or the tropics, which is the most biodiverse region in the planet. Amazon species are also has a very important endemism. That means that they exist only in the Amazon. You can see that 34% of mammals and 20% of birds in the Amazon are not found elsewhere. So concluding, we can see that the environmental service provided by the Amazon are absolutely essential, both for biodiversity conservation and also for regulating climate and mitigating climate change at the world level. But the Amazon is unfortunately is suffering from a very important threat from human activity, particularly from the 1970s onwards. Cumulative deforestation has reached 14% for the whole Amazonian basin. In the map, colors reddish represent deforested areas. Brazil has the most serious problem with 19% of already deforested areas, and the second most affected country is Ecuador with 13%. An additional 17% of forest is degraded. It is important because deforestation accounts for about 30% of total world carbon dioxide emissions, and the Amazon rainforest is the largest source of deforestation in the world. Here we can analyze with more detail the ways in which this very rapid and deep deterioration of the Amazon is taking place, particularly from the 1970s, as a result of human intervention. Latin America, in the last 50 years, has becoming a commodity provider to a multipolar world, particularly to China and other regions as Europe and the United States. In this change, that it's very important, the expansion of extractive activities in the Amazon basin has been huge. That is the case of iron ore, soy, beef, oil and gas, also gold, both legal and illegal gold mining, copper, and other metal mining. In addition to that, we have usually energy mega projects and large structural investment, altogether reshape the Amazon landscape among prevailing social exclusion, conflictivity, and increasing confrontation. China led the globalization process, becoming the most significant commodity importer, particularly on beef, soy, iron ore in the case of Brazil, and other commodities from all Amazon countries. China is also a large credit provider and a partner of oil and mining investments. So the Amazon is suffering from a very large expansion of extractive activities in all the countries associated with deforestation, forest degradation, and other problems. It has been also important to mention that despite increasing deforestation, forest degradation, and biodiversity loss, conservation policies also manages to expand protected areas and indigenous lands. And about 40% of the Amazon is now protected by different indigenous lands, recognized as recognized indigenous lands or protected areas. Nevertheless, even taking into account the results of protecting activities, destructive developmentalist model prevailed. Destruction of the rainforest is the net effect. Here we have a time series for the most important Amazonian countries of primary forest loss by country in the last 20 years. Unfortunately, forest loss is going up almost everywhere. Here we have the time series for Brazil, Bolivia, Colombia, Peru, Ecuador, and Venezuela. In all the cases, and also in the Guianas, human intervention is increasing, and the impact of rainforest is going up. Then we are moving to present some interesting national traits, at least for 3 countries, which can provide us a representative idea about the situation in each one of them. Brazil is the largest Amazonian country, accounting for about 56% of the land covered by the rainforest. From 2004 to 2012, under Lula administration, Brazil applied an important project to reduce deforestation. And as a result, deforestation declined by 84% in this period. And this is by far the most successful experience in cutting deforestation and preserving the rainforest in all the Amazon basin. Unfortunately, in the current government of Bolsonaro, the process has been reversed, and deforestation is going up very quickly again. The model that was applied by the government in Brazil during this period of deforestation reduction was an integrated, consistent policy implemented from a multi-dimensional, multi-sectoral approach with efficient monitoring, effective law enforcement, conservation incentives, expansion of protected areas and indigenous land, and strong international support, particularly from Norway and Germany, which contributed with more than $1 billion to the project. This strategy can be potentially replicated in the future, either as a Pan-Amazonian model or in other national experiences. So the Brazilian case can be presented as an example of a successful experience reducing deforestation in a very short period of time. Here we can see the time series of deforestation in Brazil, and from we can see the huge decline from 2004 to 2012, and then you can see how under the Bolsonaro presidency, deforestation is going up again. A second interesting example is the case of Colombia. The Colombian Amazon has been historically affected by violence and guerrilla activity. In 2016, the government and the guerrilla signed a peace agreement. But nevertheless, after the peace agreement, the results shows that for deforestation it has been increasing again, and the confrontation is still unresolved. The state promoted an extractive strategy while fostering some steps towards reducing deforestation, but the net result has been increasing deforestation in the country. In the case of Ecuador, we can have a very interesting example of the relationship between the expansion of oil extraction and the environmental impacts and changes in the living conditions. The analysis can demonstrate that in spite of a huge expansion of oil production, of oil extraction in the northern Amazon of the country, the Amazon actually received very little in terms of improving living conditions, and the Amazon remains the most deprived, the poorest region in the country. The net effect of oil has been detrimental, and the country has a model of unequal development with very little social distribution. Coming back to a broad analysis about the situation of the Amazon basin, possible the most important risks in the future is that the rainforest can reach a tipping point in which self-sustained forest dieback can be unleashed. This is the result of combining different problems that are currently affecting the rainforest, mostly climate change, forest degradation, and fires that already have produced increasing dry season, longer dry seasons, more frequent droughts, particularly in the central and eastern Amazon. The combined effects of lower rainfall, longest dry seasons, warmer temperatures, forest degradation, and fires might lead to a tipping point of massive forest dieback, particularly in the southwestern Amazon, shifting to a degraded open canopy forest or to a tropical savanna. Models are still not accurate enough to present a strong evidence about when and how and in which extent this tipping point can be unleashed. The risk is high, and according to a kind of precautionary principle, it is important to try to avoid this risk and changing policies in the Amazon. Concluding, a substantial shift towards a new paradigm is required. The first point is trying to eliminate deforestation. According with the Brazilian experience in the period between 2005 and 2012, this is possible, this can be reached, and it's important to apply this kind of policies again in a more pan-Amazonic way, if it is possible, because the risk of increasing deforestation is very high, and it is not only a risk for the rainforest, but also a risk for the planet. Secondly, it is important a reduction of a strict control of extractive activities, mostly oil and gas, mining, cattle raising, and large-scale agriculture with soybeans and other products. A third point is the need to restoring deforested and degraded areas. And finally, that is a very important point, it is essential to promote and develop sustainable ways to improve living conditions of the Amazon population within the limits of ecosystems. That means in a natural friendly approach in a sustainable way. New activities to be developed include ecotourism, biodiversity-based service, agroforestry, the expansion of different kinds of production of agricultural goods that have low environmental impact and are consistent with the conservation of ecosystems. Finally, it's important to recommend the most important recent analysis about the Amazon Assessment Report 2021. Here we have the website. This is the most comprehensive and updated analysis of the Amazon basin, which was written by more than 200 scientists from different disciplines, and it was also recently published by the United Nations. Thank you very much.